Oh, how good. Star of the game, this man. Mm-hmm. All-Australian last year.
Yes.
And should have been, I thought, a couple of years previously as well. Welcome to you, Suv.
Thanks, lads. Thanks for having us on. I've always wanted to come on this show. It's I follow it on Instagram. I'm not a big radio man, but I like listening to the tunes there. But I've always loved watching the reels.
The jokes.
Yeah, the gags.
What's your favourite one? Rover, the dog?
There's too many.
No, exactly. You're right, Sue.
I laugh more at your reactions.
Oh,
to the
don't
dog.
say that. Oh.
They're just rubbish.
And he doesn't laugh at him. And then Hughesy comes in. Oh, Hughesy, funniest joke ever. When they weren't.
That's because he was funny.
Anyway, Silver, great to have you here. Well done. All Australian last year. That was a great year. This year, been okay, but nice on the weekend with the first win.
Oh, just a relief. It was so good. It's been so good this week. Even coming in on just review recovery day, and it's not all doom and gloom, or we're not looking and searching for heaps of answers. But yeah, it was just so pleasing. So many of the boys, so many different players stood up in different parts of the game. There was a lot to celebrate this week, but yeah, good to get the monkey off the back, and hopefully it propels us into the second half of the year.
Do you have a little beer or a little drink? And it would have been great for Clarko too, who's had a tough year.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have any in the rooms after the game. I think they forgot to bring him, which was not pleasing for some of the boys. Didn't like that. But no, we went back to the hotel. I was staying at the Novotel there, and we just locked into one of the function rooms.
Good.
Just sat around with each other and enjoyed it. Had a laugh, and but nothing too over the top, mate. There's only the one win so far, so you got to keep the lid on it, Bill.
Yes. But
You
you're
need to do
allowed to
that.
have a drink.
Oh, of course,
Yes.
Bill, I'm with you. Now, good pressure. That's what I liked, and it was sustained. So at times I've seen North this year have good little patches, and you think, righto, this is going well, and then it can fall away quickly. But the weekend, the pressure on the ball carrier over West Coast would have found that pretty tough to handle, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the pressure gauge was up around 2.1 for the game. So we looked at that all throughout the review this week. But it was players like, a lot of that stuff it's pretty unsung, like unsung heroes of the game. Thought Paulie Curtis didn't have a massive game scoreboard wise until that last bit, which he took his moment, but his pressure was unreal. Cam Zerha, his pressure was great. Cherry's been unreal. Yep. Eddie Ford, I thought, had one of his best games for the club, even though he only touched it 9 times. I thought his intent was so good. So a lot of that stuff, and our midfield got on top for the first 3 quarters, and then a couple of the boys, Elliot Yeo, got going in the fourth. But when the midfield's on top like that, gives it a good chance up forward, and the defence gets to set up pretty well, which they've been defending pretty well for. We've been having an average, I think, about 60 inside 50s against, which is bloody tough to defend for anyone. So I think they've been holding up all right. But they did a great job as well on the weekend, but the pressure was definitely a big factor.
And as you said, Sinkin, good to see him come back, kick 2 important goals. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
So you just don't need those midfielders to stand up, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good for Jais. I think he copped a bit this year. I mean, I think that knock, obviously, he got at the start of the year, knocked him around a fair bit. But it was so good to see him take his moment as captain. He just really stood up. I thought Lukey Mack down back was really good as well. But so pleased to Jais. He was obviously back to his best. I don't think he had the leg in him from 50 back to back.
I didn't either.
But they just soared over my head. And it was such a good feel. I was just so happy for him.
Just with your goal kicking, you don't kick through it, do you? You just kind of guide it through and just kick it over the goal umpire's hat. It works because you're very accurate. But people tried to tell you to kick through it and things like that?
Yeah. When I start missing, they try to tell us a few different things. But it has worked for me. I've always thought the harder you punt the ball, the more margin for error. So if you punt the life out of it, if your ball drops slightly off, it can skew a bit. So I like to take a bit off. I don't know if it must do something.
It works.
I don't know if it's that or something else. But yeah, that's probably the reasoning behind it.
Just over the little goal umpire's hat. That's about it, isn't it? Just gets over.
Yeah, exactly. That's all you need.
No.
Goes through the big sticks.
Oh, you're accurate.
Tell us about very accurate. Your numbers are great. Tell us about some of the young fellas. Georgie, the Warlord. I think all
He's a
North
character.
Melbourne people are very happy to see him playing as well as he is in Arnold Brightus' old number. And, of course, the Shees. So we've got McKercher and Dersma. So this young group look really promising.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with this. I think we got as good a talent as a lot of as any list really, but it's just really young talent I think at the moment. So it'll take a bit of time for those boys to mature. But having said that, I mean, he's like a once a generation sort of player. He come in, you can't fault anything he does. He's a leader from day one. The way he carries himself, his professionalism, how he plays. But and then there's Georgie Wardlaw, who I love how he's got a lot of old school fans, like older.
He looks like an old footballer.
Yeah, the true '90s and earlier football fans love him, and we love playing with him just because of he's special how he attacks the footy. But then, Colby, Durs, there's a lot of. You could go through a fair
Eddie
few.
Ford, he's got a bit about him. We like that.
Yeah, Eddie Ford. Yeah,
Loves
he got a
the
bit of
rush
rock
hour.
star.
Yeah, well,
And
he
you noticed
does.
his mouth guard? He's got the Elvis. He's got a little Elvis logo on his
has he?
mouth guard. He loves the showbone, and when he kicks a couple goals, I'm looking forward to when he kicks a bag, gets his lick of the ice cream because his celebrations are top notch.
You know, he rang this station just to join in the queue for a quiz.
He did.
And
he
then
sung,
won the
he
quiz.
sung he sung Piano Man live on air.
Yeah, I reckon he.
And I think he won.
Yeah, he won the quiz. Yeah, he won
Someone
the
came
quiz.
through and told. They said to us, "This is about last. It was last year." Said, "We reckon this is Eddie Ford. Ask him on air." I said, "Ed, is that you?" He goes, "Yeah." I'm just driving home from training.
He always, every morning, he'd ring the Marty Sheargold show as well. And do the quiz as well. He's just a character, random bloke, but absolute legend.
I love it. All right, we need to take a break, but before we do, we're fascinated by Big Suve's ability to impersonate, especially our man. So we're
Yes.
going to have a little listen here.
So Purple, what do you think about Drapes' incident on the weekend of flopping on the ball? Was it?
That's a great question. I don't know if Sam Draper knew what he was doing. I just don't. And, he lay on the ball in a way that was not acceptable. And the Essendon Footy Club have a lot to do
We are going to talk to Nick Larkey about that next.
It's the rush hour, Triple M. Big Suve's got some retro
I
gear
know,
on.
I like it. That's exactly what the boys were wearing back in the day.
Yeah.
But
As
Carly's
modelled-
left the tag on it. She wants it back, Carly Fox.
Yeah, the budget. We've overdone the budget for giving out for appearances. So I've got to give this back to the roof shop. So someone will be wearing the one I've worn.
Exact one you've
before.
worn.
Someone can purchase
Now,
it.
we played You Taking the Piss Out of Purple before, which, by the way, we could not have enjoyed that anymore, your impersonation of
love
Damo.
that. It was fantastic.
And we just kept, it was on high rotation around Triple M. And Damo, to be fair, took it very well too.
He did.
But you obviously had Rafa Nadal was your first one.
Yeah.
Then
Rafa
Damo.
got done to death.
Yep. So you got any others in your quiver?
Quiver.
I don't have. Oh, I've got a few at the club, but it's you'd have to know them.
Right. Okay.
I got.
Who you
It
got?
might be you guys.
You got Damo.
Bill sort of when he. Wow, Bill sort of when he's telling the joke, he's
Yeah, I get all nervous.
He does.
he's
Which is
fiddling
hard
with
to
something
see
down
on
there.
radio, by the way, Silver.
Oh, no, but we'll turn that around. Don't worry. We'll turn that
It was
around.
JB. It would-
JB.
JB in photos does this face in photos.
Oh, the stupid smile? No. Yeah, that stupid look. Yes, that's it. That's it. Yes.
That's it.
I've got no audio
Audio,
for you. Sorry about the radio.
I like it.
Big butt.
The
Both
digital boys will turn that
good.
around.
It was Spire Biz. He's already onto it.
A bit of Rafa. We like a bit of Rafa.
You like Rafa?
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Ah, well, Bill, I will do a bit for you because you're such a good man. Appreciate your jokes. Rabbit, I like them, so I will continue to do this.
See, that's fantastic.
No,
That
it's
is
golden.
good.
That's what it is.
Do you work on it?
No, not really. Well, sometimes, I mean, I think when I found, when I did the Damo one, I think I was just listening to radio and Damo was on there and I was just like, when he speaks, he goes in the ups and downs and he's, I don't know. And he's sort of like, and I was just like, I remember the radio, they finished the channel or whatever. And I remember just sitting in a car by myself, just talking like Damo Barrett about absolutely nothing. And I was like, oh, that's actually pretty good. So I just brought it out, but
It's golden.
a bit of fun. I didn't think it'd blow up so much. So I was worried that he'd, I don't know, take it the wrong way. But he takes a joke.
Nah,
really
he's
well,
No, he
so
loves it,
was
mate.
good.
He was flattered.
He
by
was.
it.
Exactly.
Hey, tell us about Clarko. Do the boys understand? Because I always wonder with young blokes, you're not in that category anymore, having just turned 26, but the young blokes, do they understand that their coach is actually a legend of the game of AFL, a 4-time premiership coach?
Yeah, it's a good point because a lot of them are born post 2001, 2002. 2 even.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know how far back, but they're bloody young. But yeah, I think that's what that is what the aura Clarko. Oh, he brings a lot, Clarko, but that is something that is super special that separates him from other coaches anywhere. Really, is the fact that he knows exactly how what a successful football club looks like, not just a one-off year, but sustained success for so long. So I think that will always. Everyone on the list knows that, and they will always have him as a super respectable figure. But I mean, yeah, personally, when he came in, there was just this unbelievable aura, because I used to be a massive Hawthorn fan growing up, just happened to be. And I remember when he came in thinking, I just couldn't believe, because I grew up watching the Hawks, watching him. I'd never in a million years would have thought I'd be coached one day by Clarko for North Melbourne.
Yeah, right.
Who knows? But no, I'm sure the younger boys definitely know who they're being coached by.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure they would have had a look at YouTube or something.
You'd hope.
RedTube. Hey, now tell us your history. Well, that's what they're on. Nico, Q Comets.
Comets,
Yeah.
Sits. The Hawthorn Sit. I played Comets for 1 year, but they try to claim.
Yeah, all right. Who's
Hawthorn
Hawthorn
Citizens.
Sits?
Hawthorn Citizens.
The Citizens.
Citizens. Yeah, down at Rathmines Road Reserve.
Yeah.
I was trying to think who else played.
yeah, who come through?
Lukey McDonald played at the Comets.
Right.
Um,
Anyone at the Citizens?
No, not that made AFL, but I still got a lot of friends who played for the Sits, both from primary school and high school, which I still keep in contact with. But they were good days.
Picked up number 73. That is one of the great
bits
picks.
of drafting, no doubt about that. So the 99 reunion,
Jim.
have the boys wandered in? Have you seen...
Any of them?
I ran into Shagger Shannon Grant the other day, who's got a young bloke playing for the Sandy Dragons, so he's a good boy. But have they come down, and who are you looking forward to meeting out of that group?
They haven't seen. I saw Boomer today. He came down for the free feed at lunchtime. Boom.
Of course he
Of
did.
course he did.
But he's off and around. Boom. No, I haven't seen too much of him yet. I reckon they'll come down main training, and we'll see him probably pre-game in the rooms.
Have a
as
listen
such.
to some of
He
these
calls
players.
him McKernan.
Byron Pickett.
Yeah.
Byron Pickett.
Corey
John
McKernan.
Blakey.
Oh, Johnny Blakey.
Martin Pike. Arch, of course. Winnie Abraham.
Oh, Winnie.
There you
well,
go.
Duck.
Duck, of course.
You
Yeah.
could get Duck down there.
Sholey. Cameron Mooney. Oh,
Moons.
not. You
Oh.
just everyone brings that up, okay? What about
didn't
John?
have a heap of the ball.
Well, John Longmire's game, the horse.
Yep, a horse.
No kicks, 3 handballs
Right.
for the game.
Well, he's the backup ruckman. I don't think he had a lot of
Oh,
time
come on,
ground.
mate! I cop it, and I kicked 4 or something. I cop it.
Well, you didn't kick 4.
Then there's David King, of course, Steve-O, Corey McKernan,
Capuano.
Capuano.
Pretty good team.
It's a good side, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, we had a Shinbone dinner last night where Dennis Pagan was he was the special guest there, and we were talking about his time at North Melbourne, both as a player and coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, he reminisced on the 96, 99 flags, and yeah, it was good to hear because he was running through all those various players you hear about. So I've met a fair few of them before, but it's always special when they're down there. Because when I first got to the club, Anthony Stevens and Greggy Ryan, who's a
historian.
North Melbourne legend down there, historian, they would take us through history lessons at North Melbourne and our first of 3-year players. And that's what made me fall in love with the club, seeing the history of it, seeing the players who come before you, and what they'd built and what they're the ones that made the club so special. So yeah, it's always nice to see them, see the players in the flesh. It's always pretty special when they come down and watch you play.
Superstars have played for your club early.
Pago has no understanding of how much of firstly a legend he is, but secondly how impersonated he is.
Yes.
So
no way
whenever
off
anyone
the track.
does, he can't get his head around it.
No.
Give it when he looks at you, you think that's
Son?
funny, do you? Son? That's the right way to behave, son. Is it? That's you think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
But
he's
when
a
everyone
scary,
does
scary
it,
man.
he doesn't understand what he's like.
He got a
So
winner.
funny.
He got a winner on the weekend at Flemington. Like a good race, and he got another.
Won the
he's-
derby.
and he just got a winner last Saturday. So
He
he's
had
going
one
on.
racing today, I think.
Oh, did
The
he?
boys are
Yeah.
watching it in
mate.
bit of a donkey.
Actually, I'm going
with.
with Steve-O this week. We're going to his home club, Wayeye.
Way
That's where we're going
Anthony.
this Saturday
Oh, yeah.
night.
Oh,
Up
come
to
on, Steve-O.
Wayeye.
Come on,
with
star.
Steve-O. That'll
Hey,
be good.
speaking of stars, Steve, you're an absolute legend,
Yes.
mate. All North people love watching
Bloody
you go
oath.
about it.
Good on you.
You've been an ornament to the club. And by the way, hosting Collingwood on the weekend, Rabbits.
Yeah, ticketmaster.com.au. Make sure you pack out Marvel Stadium and celebrate the 99 premiership, 25 years on.
I love it.
Great having you in here, Nick, and goodbye to Damian Barrett too.
Thanks, Bill. I would have to say that's quite impromptu of you to throw that on me. I would love to hear a joke from you, Bill. Rabbit sits up there, quite pompous on his castle, and adjudicates you rather unfairly, Bill, I would say. So
my castle.
You are exactly what spot on, Damian, Nick Larkey, whoever you are.